Hello friends, today we'll be dealing with hydrocephalus. Hydrocephalus is the imbalance between the production and absorption of CSF or the cerebrospinal fluid. It is characterized by abnormal increase in the volume of CSF within the intracranial cavity, resulting in enlargement of the infant's head. Let's see the incidence. It is about 3 to 4 children per 1000 live births. Moving on to the circulation of CSF. The circulation of CSF starts from the left ventricle and through the foramen of Monro, also known as interventricular foramen, to the third ventricle. And from the third ventricle, it moves to the fourth ventricle via the aqueduct of Sylvius or the cerebral aqueduct, and leading to the foramen of Magendie, and later to the subarachnoid space through the foramen of Leschka and foramen of Magendie. This is the circulation of CSF. Moving on to the causes. The causes can be divided into two, congenital and acquired. In case of congenital, intrauterine infection such as rubella, cytomegalovirus, toxoplasmosis can be reasons. Then trauma, which is subarachnoid, intracranial, intraventricular hemorrhage, congenital malformation, Dundee-Walker syndrome can be reasons. In case of acquired, it can be infections, spontaneous intracranial hemorrhage, intercranial tumors, head injury, and will all be the reasons. Ruptured aneurysm is also a reason. Moving on to the types of hydrocephalus, there are mainly two, non-communicating and communicating. Non-communicating is also known as obstructive and communicative as non-obstructive as well. In case of non-communicative, the obstruction is in the flow of CSF within the ventricles and subarachnoid space, which results in the interference with the circulation and absorption of CSF. And this what happens? The CSF gets accumulated and distance the ventricle and compress the brain. In case of communicable, there is normal flow of CSF, but there is decreased absorption in the subarachnoid villi, and excess CSF leads to flattening and atrophy of the brain. These may be the causes due to infection, subarachnoid hemorrhage, etc. But in non-communicable, the main causes are due to congenital or acquired cause. Moving on to the clinical features. It depends on the child age, fontanelles, cranial sutures, type of hydrocephalus, etc. And its main features are enlargement of the skull, widening separated sutures, delayed closure of anterior fontanelle, tense bulging fontanelle, McQueen signs, sunset sign, etc. In case of older children, headache, nausea, vomiting, papilledema, irritable, apathetic, bulging occipital can all be the reasons. Moving on to the diagnosis, the mainly MRI, CT, X-ray, echoencephalography. Moving on to the management, the treatment of hydrocephalus is directed towards relief of hydrocephalus, treatment of complication. Medical management. This can be tried in mild cases of hydrocephalus, acetazolamide and oral glycerides. Acetazolamide is 50 mg per kg per day, diminishes the CSF production. Moving on to the surgical management, mainly we have ventriculoperitoneal shunt, ventriculoatrial shunt, which is VP shunt and VA shunt, then ventriculopleural shunt, ventriculoureteric shunt. We also have ETV. Moving on to nursing management, the main management is education of the family members and treatment of surgical procedure and major complication. Providing preoperative care, assess the physical examination and history collection, family support, then support the head and neck, provide skin care to the child, give more frequent diet, and encourage the parental bonding. Moving on to the post-operative, assess signs of increased ICP. If there is increased ICP, then elevate the head of the bed, then observe abdominal distension, maintain IO chart, give prescribed medications, then provide shunt care if there is any signs of infection, and monitor over drainage. Moving on to the teach home care. When the child is discharged, it is necessary that we teach the parents to take care of their child. Encourage the child to participate in age-appropriate activities. Encourage the parents to maintain normal life as possible. Explain about the disease condition. Moving on to the nursing diagnosis. The first nursing diagnosis is ineffective cerebral tissue perfusion. Second one is imbalanced nutrition, less than body requirement. Third one is impaired skin integrity related to enlarged head. Fourth one is risk for infection related to introduction of infecting organism through shunt. Fifth one is ineffective family coping related to life-threatening problem of infant. These are the 5 nursing diagnoses. I hope you have understood, and thank you.
Wow, that's impressive! You have completed a magic today. For more videos, subscribe. Join our Facebook group and Instagram page for group discussion and live Magus videos for exam preparation in an hour. We start at class-like community for students to learn from a friend in a simple way and support them in their own languages. If you are willing to be that one friend who saves us at the exam night preparation, then please join us by visiting classfly.in.